first off, I want to, congratulate Kathy Van Wyk and our softball team. 800 wins, especially being at one place, is pretty significant. And, my first time through here in 2009, 2010, got to know Kathy. And then also when I was at Michigan as an assistant and then as a head coach, Carol Hutchinson. Who's one of the great coaches, and her and Kathy are good friends. So I want to, congratulate her and her girls. That's a great deal for them and for her. Football-wise, we are in our last week of spring, phase 3. Like what we've done so far, or phase 2, my fault. To this point, we've been very aggressive. I think I like how we've been, our effort on the field. I think we've been able to install on both sides of the ball obviously having more time. It's helped the process. And look forward to we draft today for the spring game. So our upperclassmen, our seniors, I think we have 34 guys in that group. They'll be broken up to Team Aztec and to Team Warrior, and they will draft the teams for Friday.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. We'll open up for questions now, and we'll start with Paul.
Hey, Coach, is there any reward for the winning team?
Yeah, we're playing for steaks and hot dogs, and the steaks will have all the trimmings that you would think, and then and nice silverware and all that. If you're a hot dog, you're on paper plates and plastic spoons. So it's something to play for, and we'll have that banquet on Monday.
And Coach Quincy yesterday spoke about maybe the offense exceeding expectations this spring with just everything that he was wanting to install, the effort, and how well they're playing. Just what is your perspective on that, and maybe the reason for such great progress?
Yeah, well, I would agree. I think from where we were, 6 months ago, 4 months ago, whatever it might be, I think because of being able to have a full winter and from the weight room to the meetings to the walkthroughs, all those things. And then obviously having what we've had so far in spring football, I think it's made a big difference. I think we are ahead, obviously, and we're making progress. We still are a long way being kind of football team we have to be.
Coach also mentioned that he thought all 3 quarterbacks were on their way to playing championship level at that position. What does it mean when you are able to have 3 quarterbacks in every single set be that high quality in terms of the development of everybody around?
Well, Paul, I think this, number one, we've got great competition at the position. I think obviously Lucas and Jordan are a little bit ahead of Jaden just because of being here for the season, the fall season. So they're a little bit ahead, but I think they all have qualities you really like. They all have a work ethic that we're really proud of, from the learning and the knowledge to playing within their skill sets, I think is important. And I think they're all doing a good job with the offense. We're not perfect. We threw some balls the other day that we can't throw. We got to do a better job of trying not to force it and do a good job with our progression and our reads. But I think they've lifted each other because of the competition.
Last question for me. Between the end of spring and the beginning of fall camp, what is the schedule like for them, and what is it that all the players are going to be working for?
Yeah, number one, they'll finish school. They'll have finals coming up. They'll have some time off away from us, and really when we get back into the first summer session, most of them will be back. But a lot of those weeks, because of NCAA and what you need to do and following the rules, some of those weeks will be senior driven weeks as far as if what they're going to do from the weight room to the running, but they're discretionary. And then really June 1st starts with Coach Hall in the summer program.
All right, thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Paul. We'll go to Lee.
Hey, Brady, multiple choice, 7 interceptions in your last outing.
Yeah.
Your defense that good, or your quarterback's overwhelmed, or is this just a byproduct of live fire quarterbacks having to learn under pressure?
Yeah, I would say I'd take a little bit out of all those things, Hacksaw. I think defensively, I thought we did some good things. I thought there was some progress from the week before, to be honest with you. And I also think, like I said to Paul, I think, we've got to be a little bit better in what we're seeing as a quarterback and how we need to, take care of the football and read the right progression. And I would say 2 of them, one for sure, was a 50-50 ball that Pat McMorris did a heck of a job getting his hands on and coming down with it. So I think there's that. We broke off a route. We weren't on the same page on another one with a receiver and the quarterback. So, we got to get better, Lee. That's what I can tell you, and they're working hard too.
And a follow-up at wide receiver. Do you think you're developing a game-changing wide receiver? Because the Aztecs have not had that in the last group of years. Granted, they've been unbelievably successful running the football, but how do you develop a game breaker that scares the other guy?
Yeah, you know what? Elijah Cody is a guy who really can run. I mean, he's a lot faster than I ever thought he was. He's got the ability to get behind a guy. Once he gets off the line of scrimmage, I think he's tough to deal with. I think Jesse's had a really good spring. I think Kobe has a much better spring than he did a fall. So I think there's a group of them, in there that are playing pretty good football. I think it's slot position. You look at Ethan and Busby. I mean, they've done a nice job. I think they've all progressed. Do we have a guy like Duru or Dobbs? We don't have a guy like that, but I think we've got some guys who are pretty daggone close.
Thank you.
You got it.
Thanks, Lee. We'll go to John.
Hey, Coach, how do you determine playing time in a spring game? And are you cautious a bit with the guys that already have a sizable amount of college experience as opposed to guys that don't have the same amount of experience? Yeah, there's no doubt, John. You think about it a lot. You hold your breath a lot. Yeah. But at the same time, football's football. And we'll limit some guys, definitely, as far as how many snaps. And as we break the teams up, as the commissioner of the draft, I'm sure I'll be getting some critical looks from the players when I pull a guy out of the game that they drafted. So it will be it'll be interesting. I'm going to have tough skin, but yeah, I mean, you think about those things, but I've been doing this a long time and had some guys, get hurt bad in spring games and have spring games where everybody came out of it healthy. Is it typical or atypical to have a draft? Is that something you've done previously?
I have. And in fact, when I was a player at Ball State, we had steak and hot dogs. And so my first years of being a head coach at Ball State, we didn't do it here in the 2 springs that we were here. I think we did it once at Michigan. But, you look at your roster,
you look at your numbers. Usually, it always seemed like your numbers were short, particularly in the offensive line. I don't feel that way right now, and we have a lot of guys that we need to keep getting reps for. Who are the Des Bissettes, Dixon. I mean, they've Crenshaw. They've all gotten better, but they need more reps. So I think that's part of it. But we'll monitor the scrimmage as it goes.
Thanks, Coach.
You got it, John.
Thanks, John. We'll go to Lewis.
Hey Brady, switching talk to a different draft now. What kind of contact are you maintaining with some of the guys who are hoping to make it to the league this weekend with the NFL draft starting on Thursday?
Yeah, not a whole lot, to be honest with you. I mean, and that's kind of normal. I've been at places where a lot of guys have gotten drafted or no guys have gotten drafted. We wish them all great luck and hopefully it'll work out. D Hall, I think, is probably the guy who has the best possibilities, and so we're really excited for him.
What's it like as a coach to hear guys like potentially like D Hall, get their name called, when you see them and you get to hear, potentially the commissioner or someone else say, from San Diego State? What's it like to hear them get their name called?
Well, I think it's, it's something we're really proud of. We're proud of them and the work that they've put in and how they performed here, and very, very proud that they represent San Diego State and the Aztecs. So it's always a good feeling when that happens, and we look forward to what's going to go on.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks, Lewis. Back to Kirk.
Hey Brady, how many plays are you hoping to run in the scrimmage on Friday? And also, how would this scrimmage maybe differ in what ways compared to the previous couple?
Well, this is going to be a game. I mean, we're going to do all the punt returns, and we've done those things during these other scrimmages that they've been a separate part. This will be within game. As far as, it's fourth down and you got to go field goal, you got to punt the ball. You're going to have to punt it. We'll have a full complement of officials. In fact, the supervisor of the officials is going to be here. So, we're going to play it as game-like as we can. It never quite works out because, something happens, or depending on where we're at with the play count, that's important. So we'll just take it one step at a time and play it like a game.
What are the biggest things you can learn from game-like conditions like this as opposed to when it's just a scrimmage?
Yeah, I think for the young guys, now, there's not going to be a whole lot of people here. Let's be real honest about that. But, hopefully our guys who have parents coming from within the state of California, we've given every kid 2 tickets to, be a part of it. So if, we can muster up enough enthusiasm that way, I think a little bit, you got to bring your own energy. And so, but it will be as close to game-like as we can in all facets.
And I think you touched on it a little bit earlier. Some of the veteran guys are, in fact, starters that are returning. Would those guys just get a series or 2 and then be out, or how much would you expect some of them to play?
Yeah, it will depend. If it's a series and it's a 3 and out, I think we'll go a little longer with them. It could be, a quarter, could be 12 plays, somewhere in that realm.
For your quarterback battle, how close would you think you'd be to naming a starter at the end of this, or do you want that to go through the summer and into the fall to really get that competition going?
Yeah, I think a credit to the quarterbacks is it's probably going to go through what we're doing in the summer. I mean, and to their credit, because they're the ones who have created this competition. And, there's good days and bad days for all of them. But, I like how they all have handled the competition piece to it and how they continue to grow.
And with your history as a coach and similar battles like this, if two guys are pretty much equal. Do you give it to like a senior who's got more experience, or do you give it to a younger guy like a sophomore who could be your potentially your quarterback for 3 years to come?
Yeah, I would think number one, it would depend, how accurate and how close it really is. I do think that, if you've got a guy who's got a little bit of more competition in front of him and has played and all those things, I would go more towards that.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Kirk. Back to Lee.
Hey, Brady, the use of live fire during all this spring football, we have seen in the flashes from each of these quarterbacks that they can play, and we've also seen them struggle. The live fire, do you think of enormous benefit, even though they're up and down this spring?
I think it's Lee. I think it's really in a lot of factors, but I really think it's helped each and every one of them. I think how they move, how they extend plays. There were a couple situations where one of them the other day, we're going 3rd and 6, and we go 3rd and 9, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 3 in a third down drill, and all he's got to do is run. He gets out of the pocket, does a good job, tries to throw and get the big play instead of, continuing the drive by running for the first down. So that's a learning experience. And I think what we've done with it and how they've competed with it, I really think it's been a big plus for us.
Are you excited at the potential of these three guys?
Oh yeah, I think all three of them. And they're all like we all are. They're all a little different. They're a little different in maybe arm strength, maybe in seeing the field, the foot speed and all those things. But they all fit very well into the system, and we're going to make sure the system itself puts them in an area to be, really productive.
Thank you.
You got it, Lee.
Thanks, Lee. Back to Paul.
Coach, are you guys doing anything different among the coaching staff during the spring game? Are you splitting up at all or anything like that?
Yeah, they are. They're split up. The coaches are, trainers are, the equipment people, our recruiting department. They're all either on Team Aztec or Team Warrior.
And who's leading each team?
Coach Maddox has got one, and Coach Heklinski's got one. But they're Coach Hort will take charge of one offensively, and it will be good.